Coming your way on the 49ers Report, we're going to take a look at Mel Kiper's draft grades for the San Francisco 49ers. But first, last week, throughout the draft, we picked up 613 new subscribers. So welcome into all of you who are new to the 49ers Report. And whether you're a new subscriber or an old subscriber, make sure you turn on those notifications by hitting that bell icon and select all. Therefore, anytime we push out a video, anytime we go live, you will be notified. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. On the docket for today's 49ers Report, going to take a look at what Mel Kiper Jr. had to say about what the San Francisco 49ers did in the 2022 NFL Draft. We put out our own draft grades right here on the channel. Make sure you check that video out if you haven't already done so. And let's get to the other draft expert in addition to your boy here and Mel Kiper Jr. First, we take a look at what the Niners did in bringing these rookies to the Bay. Round 2, pick number 61, because they didn't have a first-round pick. After that Trey Lance trade last year, they selected the edge rusher out of USC and Tariq Jackson. In round 3, the biggest surprise of the 49ers draft is they went back to running back, just like they did last year with Trey Sermon, taking Ty Davis Price out of LSU. Later on in the 3rd round, 105 overall, my favorite selection of the draft, and Danny Gray, wide receiver out of SMU, who is electric with the ball in his hands, 4.3 speed. Then they start to really prioritize positions of need here. Spencer Burford, offensive tackle out of UTSA, started a bunch of games to tackle, played guard as well. He goes to the Niners in round 4, 134. And then you round out these last several picks. Samuel Womack, cornerback out of Toledo, a guy who just has an excellent knack for making plays on the football, 46 pass breakups in 51 career games. Nick Zakelj, offensive guard out of Fordham, played a lot of tackle in college, but I think he's going to move inside. Kalia Davis, coming off a torn ACL, is a crazy cool athlete. Number 220, round 6, the defensive tackle out of UCF, maybe a future replacement for DJ Jones. Tariq Castro-Fields has 4.3 speed and is long at that cornerback spot. I had him going to the Niners in one of my mock drafts. By the way, my last mock draft, Ty Davis Price, Danny Gray, all going to San Francisco. It ended up ringing true. Maybe I'm a genie in the bottle, baby. But I like Tariq Castro-Fields, length, 4.3 speed, and to get him at excellent value in round 6 out of Penn State, who's developed pro prospects, absolutely love that. And then pick Mr. Irrelevant, the future Nick Mullins. I said this at the time during our live show that I envision Brock Purdy, if he works out, to be a Nick Mullins type. Really, his ultimate upside, Colt McCoy, long-term backup for Trey Lance, potentially. That rounds out all of the 49ers draft selections. Before we get to what Mel Kiper had to say about what the Niners did in this year's draft, I want you to get into the comments section, get your red pens out, hop onto the keyboard, whether you're on your computer, tablet, or your phone, and grade the Niners draft class. A, B, C, D, or F. My overall grade is B. Let me know if you disagree with me, but either way, give me your grades in the comment section. As for what Mel Kiper said about the draft and how he graded San Francisco, he gave them a B-, and I think that's totally okay. Kiper thinks that Tariq Jackson could be an early contributor and a future star at that edge rushing spot, even though he didn't have a lot of production at USC this past year and throughout his career. He does like the upside of that pick. He did say, though, he was expecting Tariq Jackson to have a bigger sack season in 2021, and he didn't. He did think that Ty Davis Price, like all of us, was a little bit of a reach in the 3rd round. And then he also said that the 49ers reached a little bit too much for his liking, not enough, though, for him to give the Niners a C. So obviously, San Francisco did not draft on night 1. They were somewhat busy on day 2. So let's take a look at what Mel Kiper Jr. had to say about their day 2 picks. We start off with Tariq Jackson. 49ers first-round pick was dealt away in their trade-up for quarterback Trey Lance last year. So they began their class on day 2 with edge rusher Tariq Jackson, who could be an early contributor. Kiper said, I thought he might have a breakout season in 2021, but he only had 5 sacks. If he can put it all together, this could be a pick we talk about as a steal a few years down the road. And I hope that that's the case. Tariq Jackson certainly has the athletic upside to be a steal down the road, and already a lot of players on this roster are very excited about the selection. Tariq Jackson was on the radio here on Wednesday morning and said, Nick Bosa, Trey Lance, Eric Armstead, Emmanuel Mosley all reached out to me. And I think that says a couple of things. They're excited about the selection of Drake Jackson. I think it also says that the culture going on inside the walls of the 49ers locker room is a good one. And that's always conducive to long-term success and winning. A good early indication for Drake Jackson because he knows where he's going to a very stable environment, and a good thing for the Niners as a franchise moving forward. So do you think that Kiper's grade of B- for the Niners was fair? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comment section. I totally think it is. I think if you go anything above B, you're out of your gorge. I think anything less than a B is totally reasonable. I'd even say that you could say C+ is all good. But you let me know by typing a Y for yes or an N for no. Another reminder to subscribe to the channel because nobody's doing what we're doing here on the 49ers Report. Free daily videos, interactive content where we welcome all of you, the viewers, onto our shows, 100% free videos. And all of you who are subscribed, I want you to type S if you're a loyal subscriber and you like all of the content that we're pushing out. And if you ain't subscribed, you ain't alive. Also, turn on those notifications so when we push out a video, when we go live, you will get that push notification. And also, we partnered with the Call-In app. Yesterday, after our live show, went live on Call-In for about 40 minutes. Think Twitter Spaces, but even better, I was taking calls from the faithful for that time frame, and we're going to continue to do that at least once a week. So show us some support, youtube.com/49erstv, and make sure you stay on top of all of the exciting announcements that we have here on the channel. Okay, so we continue to move forward, and Kiper, he's going to talk about Ty Davis-Price as well as Danny Gray. We start off with TDP, the overall pick at 93. He went a couple of rounds earlier than I thought. He is my 13th ranked running back, Kiper said, and there were several better backs available before the day 3 run on them got underway, maybe like an Isaiah Spiller. I like James Cook as well, but Ty Davis-Price is a player that fits Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And when I watched the tape of TDP, Ty Davis-Price is a really fun player. I know a lot of people are knocking this selection in the 3rd round because of what the Niners did last year in the draft by taking Trey Sermon at the 3rd round, and it wasn't really necessarily a need on this 49ers roster, and there were better players available, and I think TDP could have been had later on in the draft. But Kyle Shanahan has shown that he wants one-cut runners. He wants running backs who are able to quickly identify the hole, hit it, and run the football with authority. That's what Ty Davis-Price brings to the table. He is a downhill train who runs in a very physical manner. I also think that this was a message, potentially, to Deebo Samuel. Deebo, if you don't want to play running back, if you want to preserve your body, you can continue to play more wide receiver and less running back because we now have that downhill bell cow in Ty Davis-Price who can bring that physical element to the running game so that you, Deebo Samuel, no longer have to worry about it. When you watch the tape of Ty Davis-Price, I like what he's able to do. Last year after halftime, he was able to average a little less than 6 yards per carry, and I like the fact that he brings that brute force to the running back position, and now in that running back room, you have a blend of a bunch of different skill sets. So there are 32 teams in the National Football League. I want you to rank the Niners draft among all NFL teams. There are a couple of clear winners. Philadelphia Eagles, New York Jets, Baltimore Ravens among the teams that I think did some good work throughout the 3 days of the NFL draft. And I think the Niners are right about in that middle tier, 1 to 32, rank what the Niners did in the draft among all NFL teams. To Danny Gray now, pick number 105. Kiper said that he is lightning quick after the catch, as we've talked about here on the 49ers Report, while Kalia Davis at 220 is a physical interior defensive lineman against the run. He is recovering from an injury. It's a torn ACL, or else he probably would have gone at least a round higher. Jackson has a high ceiling, but San Francisco reached a little bit too much for my liking with its picks. Now, I do want to expand a little bit on Danny Gray because I was pumped up at the selection of Danny Gray. My final mock draft, I had Danny Gray going to the Niners in round 4 or 5. He's my favorite selection of this draft class for a couple of reasons. I think he's an ideal fit next to the complementary cast of wide receivers who are currently on this roster. Yes, including Deebo Samuel, who I do think is going to be back in 2022. Ray McLeod can be your premium special teams player who returns punts and kicks, while Danny Gray, won't really be a special teams contributor, but he can more so be that gadget guy on offense, which I think is an ideal fit for him in year one. This is a playbook in Kyle Shanahan's offense that is sometimes complex, and it can get confusing and overwhelming for rookies, but for Danny Gray, he might not have to dive deep into the nuances of this playbook because he can get the football in easy ways. Jet sweeps, reverses, bubble screens, and you allow him and his 4.3 speed to really, you take advantage of that. You find a way to put the football in his hands so that he can cause some damage toward opposing defenses, and it allows him to become a more refined route runner, which is a little bit of a knock on Danny Gray. But man, he is explosive, and that 4.3 speed is certainly going to pop. As for Kalia Davis, he can move for a big dog, man. You guys are really going to like him. In addition to that Poe kid who they signed, as a UDFA out of Mercer, this guy as a guard and center, Poe I'm talking about, is unbelievable on the run. Some teams wanted to try him out as an NFL fullback. Kalia Davis has that same body type. He has that same effort. He has that same speed and agility for his size. Has a little bit of unnecessary weight. He's coming off that torn ACL, but as a future potential DJ Jones replacement, he's really intriguing to me. And you pair him up with Chris Kocurek, the best defensive line coach in the National Football League. The development that's taken place along the defensive line with some of these guys under Kocerek's watch has been miraculous to see. Davis might be the beneficiary of that in a couple of years. So among these 9 selections that the Niners made in the draft, what was your favorite move that the Niners did pull off throughout draft time? Let me know. For me, it's Danny Gray. The UDFAs, Donovan West, I liked it, but I'm speaking specifically about the NFL draft here. Let me know. Thanks for watching today's show. Don't forget to subscribe.